Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. You guys know when you were a kid and for example, the first time you went to your homie's sleepover, or you know, having that feeling of wanting to do something and you get the butterflies in your stomach. And you haven't had that feeling in a long ass fucking time, because life kind of hits as an adult, and it kind of sucks and it's depressing, but sometimes there's really not a lot to be excited about, which is again very very depressing as an adult world, right? We should have stayed as kids. Is something that I like to say a lot. But that feeling, that butterfly in your stomach feeling, where everything kind of just feels fuzzy and very very almost when you guys go down in a roller coaster and you feel that kind of you know what I'm saying, that feeling. So I literally I sat down and I was literally just scrolling on my Instagram, answering DMs and just posting content, and I get all these DMs and I'm seeing all these people, telling me about their stories and their metrics and all that shit. And then I look at my Shopify dashboard and I don't know, I just get I got this feeling that it was the same feeling that I had when, I had butterflies in my stomach about, a girl that liked me back, or on the way to the sleepover with the boys, you know what I mean? It's it feels very almost innocently childish to be a young entrepreneur and be making this amount of money. So this is 57,000 in 21 days. So I'm estimating, based on the metrics that have been day to day for me, that I am going to, at the end of the month, have an $85,000 to $90,000 month, which is technically my first month, or first month and a half, considering that I started running this branded dropshipping store the 16th of last month. So I just want to show you guys kind of the power of compound interest when it comes to potentially scaling a brand, and kind of the numbers that you can expect if things go right and you scale accordingly and don't experience too many problems, right? I did have a couple of problems that happened with my store, and there are still a couple of problems, and I'm actually going to mention something very important later on, and to be honest, I'm going to need a little bit of help from somebody who is scaling aggressively and is really into this. I need somebody to help me out. I'm willing to pay for that information as well, because there is some shit going on, but I'll get to that later. Anyways, the first, I guess, half month, it's genuinely insane, because when it was happening to me, this was a humongous number, right? It was huge to see that in pretty much 2 weeks I made 8.7 thousand. Now obviously guys, that's not all profit. We have been through this many times, but that first half month, it was 8.7 thousand, which was ridiculous, right? It was my third product ever testing. I was 2 months into really learning about e-com and meta ads and all that shit. And if you kind of compare that to this month, which is 21 days, it has almost 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. It has 7x'd. It has 7x'd in revenue. And it is fucking insane to see that shit. Anyways, that problem that I was talking about is that my ad account is what you would call a funded account. So when I first put in my information, this was me, having a beginner mistake. I put in my information to, do the billing and all that kind of shit, and spend for the ads. And my credit card declined, and I didn't realize until 4 hours later. And when I got back to the account, initially it wasn't a funded account, but when the credit card declined, it switched from a regular account, which just, you can pay through your debit card every single time, and it switched into an account that is funded, meaning that you have to put in money into Meta itself for it to take money from there, and then once it runs out, you put in more. Now there's an issue, guys, with this ad account, and I don't know exactly what to do. There are a couple of things that I'm trying out, making a new ad account as well, and connecting a pixel through a different integration system rather than the partner integration that Meta allows you to do. I'm trying to do a couple things. I won't really get too deep into it. But the issue is that my daily limit spend on Meta is $3,000, right? So I can spend up to $3,000 every single day. However, even though my daily limit is $3,000, my account, because it's funded, is having an account spending limit. And so every single day, this account spending limit does increase. For example, from 9,000 account spending limit to 10,000. So let's say that you put in, let's say that your account spending limit is at 9,000 out of $10,000 account spending limit, okay? And your daily limit is 3,000. So the issue is that I can't put in that much money for the daily limit because my account spend limit only allows me to put in enough money for it to reach that account limit for that day. So in essence, what's happening is that it's only allowing me to put in $1,000 every single day into the ads because my account threshold is only increasing by $1,000 every day. But on paper, I can spend $3,000, but I'm only spending $1,000 of that every day, and I can't keep putting in funds. So I'm trying to make a new ad account. I'm trying to fucking do different shit to, I've been calling and figuring shit out. So if somebody knows what to do with that, please let me know. If you guys are beginners and you're watching this video, I'm sorry that, I loaded you guys with all that information, but I just needed to kind of put that out there because it is hindering my ability to scale quicker. And if I could spend $3,000 a day on my ads, I 100% would, because my average ROAS on my ads is between 3.5 to 4.2 daily. So if I'm spending $1,000, I'm getting back $4,200. Meaning if I spend $3,000, I'm getting back $10,000 to $12,000 every single day. Ideally, right? If that ROAS continues. But obviously, the higher you spend, the lower the ROAS is going to be. Anyways, what I want to speak about today as well is my experience getting this amount of money while still working a job, while still doing content pretty much full time, and trying to balance all this shit, right? So pretty much right now, I'm kind of in that come up phase where you guys are kind of witnessing what I'm experiencing. I've shown my progress, from pretty much day one from scratch. If you guys don't believe any of the shit that I am showing you guys, you can see from the beginning that I clearly fucking started with nothing. I am not scamming. I'm not doing anything weird. This is just straight up branded dropshipping. It is what I am doing. And you guys have been able to see my progress. Now, I will tell you guys that there are going to be a lot of complications when you start making this amount of money. A lot of problems start happening because banks are not used to people having that much motion. Banks and credit cards are not used to people this aged with, just a sudden increase in the amount that you're spending and a sudden increase in the amount that is being received by your debit card, by your accounts. So a lot of fucking questions are asked by these entities, right? I've had people call me asking if transactions should be approved. I've gotten like 5 new credit cards in the past week just so I can, max them out and then, pay them off and like build my credit as well. I got my first Amex Gold card, which I'm pretty sure is an unlimited credit card, which is fucking ridiculous and insane to say that. There are going to be issues also with taxes, right? I need to consider the fact that, taxes are going to be an issue later on. I'm not too worried about it right now, but that is a consideration for you guys. And I just wanted to tell you guys that because, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not like, for example, like when you see this dashboard, people assume like, oh, this motherfucker has hella motion, right? $60,000 in 21 days. But, you don't take into consideration the cost of the goods, the cost of the ads, the cost of fulfillment and shipment. And, it's not, yes, it looks good right here to see it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not what people think it really is. Like, I'm not out there fucking buying Rolexes and, driving Lambos yet, right? Maybe potentially in the future. But, in the beginning, it's not really what you think it is. And I don't want people to have the wrong idea of what it takes to run an online business, and that you can just fuck around and do fucking jack shit all day and that you'll make money. Yeah, there are some days where I do feel a little bit lazier, but at the end of the day, I worked really, really hard to get to where I am here. And I think that every now and then it's fine to, I guess, rest a little bit, because your business is kind of running on autopilot at that point, but you want to use that time to focus on other things, new things, better things. I think Andrew Tate said it. He said, if a man figures out how to make $1,000 an hour rather than $1,000 a day, you're not supposed to just work 1 hour so that it's equivalent to that day. No, at that point you are working 12 hours a day so that you can make 12,000 in that day. And I think this pretty much applies to this as well, is that now it's kind of on autopilot. I've literally hired some of my friends to do VA work for me, and everything with the supplier is working pretty well, and I'm getting MOQ orders at this point, because they are running out of space in the warehouse, and I am to a point where I'm discussing with the supplier the most automatic ways to fulfill things, and kind of things are really on autopilot right now and very stable, which I'm very, very blessed about. But that does not mean that I can slack off, right? That means that there are more hours for me to do other things, more important things that, I want to fulfill and do in the future. So I think that's kind of the message that I want to give you guys today, is that it's not what it seems. And when you do start reaching this amount of money, and you will, I promise that you will make this amount of money if you are 100% devoted to the idea, and obsessed. I'm talking completely obsessed, like you've never been obsessed before. That girl that you are completely heartbroken over, you have to be more obsessed with this than you were with her. It's to the point where you have to be more obsessed with this than you are obsessed with breathing and living. I know it's very extreme, but that's literally what it took me to get here, and what it's going to take me to get higher metrics and make a lot more money. So I kind of just wanted to give you guys a little pep talk and let you guys know that it is 100% possible to do this. I am not a fucking guru. I am a regular 21-year-old man. Please, lock in, do this shit.